food happened in 2025? And more importantly, where will organic take us in 26? Last year was confusing for food consumers. We were blasted by grandstanding politicians and CEOs who all claim they want to save the world from starvation. And I do too, of course. But Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk, well, they pump that message hard because they already make billions upon billions selling false hope to overpopulated countries. In my neck of the woods, though, I'm more concerned about my family and my friends and my community. And many farmers are genuinely grateful to play their role as an important cog in the big alternative agriculture machine, and to know that they're doing their part for food justice and climate action. It makes them feel good. It makes us all feel good. In 2025, though, market garden farmers reported damage in the system, and that when their baler gets stuck on a broken tooth, they just sit there spinning and wondering why civic leaders keep doing the same things over and over but promising different results. I mean, consumers can see you. Farmers can too. We all can see you. San Francisco just launched a massive historical lawsuit against 10 companies that manufacture ultra-processed food, UPFs. Food banks everywhere are bare. It's a tragedy. Seniors on fixed incomes are malnourished, and children still go to school hungry every single day. Most families just want to eat healthy food at an affordable price. Farmers, unfortunately, have little left right now to save anyone but themselves. If they do have residual energy at the end of the day, I mean, sure, maybe, but realistically, most of society is tapped out and food anxious. We're all food anxious. All the virtue signaling, created an atmosphere that feeds predation and targets farmers as sacrificial lambs. Farmers do all the heavy lifting, while Bezos and dozens of newly minted certification organizations reap the rewards. While America falls ill from a growing list of ultra-processed chemicals that are specifically designed to increase food profit for guys like Gates, other lurking heroes of humanity, saviors of the starving, are posing, begging, and evangelizing in front of alternative labels like regenerative, permaculture, biodynamic, syntropic, and all the rest, hoping that their names will go down in the annals of history as the futurists who saved the planet from extinction. Wow. Where do I sign up? But first, I want to know, where exactly are all the customers that are going to support this? I don't see them. Do you? Heroism is pretty heady stuff for a bunch of neurodivergent scientists and engineers at the top of their class who know that 1 + 1 is 2, but they still can't spell empathy. I'm a diagnosed geek too, and I embrace empathy, so you have to wonder why they find humanity so challenging. The rest of us don't. Agriculture won't be about tech and farming and nerds in 2026. It'll be about food and eating and farming and who grows the best quality that racks up the highest nutrient density. Over the next few years, nutrient density will become the trust touch point for consumers. It'll be like, hey, Mr. Potato Head, my organic nutrient density scientifically calculated at 95% is way healthier than your UPF ND at 35%. 2026 food, the good stuff, will need to be devoid of all chemicals at any stage of the process. The healthy food era in 2026 will be about natural food for natural people, not feedlot food for feedlot humans wallowing in industrial UPFs. Farmers who use Roundup, which is glyphosate, and especially as a desiccant to dry their products, they'll be outed, shamed, and blamed. PC and wokeism are already giving way to common sense. Agriculture in 2026 will usher in a new era of discriminating and often wealthy food consumers. Progressive farmers will be the hosts with all the knowledge that smart shoppers need to source healthy food. I mean, who else would do it? Big box grocers will take a hit regarding UPF, plus farmers markets that price fix, well, they'll get called out too, especially in big cities. In 2026, luxury grocers like Erewhon or Nude Miami, and also My Farmer is My Friend. It's an open source concept I designed a while ago. Plus, other consumer visibility strategies will define our new healthy food era. As consumers, we already have bankers for our money, dentists for our teeth, and mechanics for our car. So in 2026, having a farmer as a friend to help us source healthy food will be a natural fit. You know, old MacDonald had a farm, but today, new MacD, well, she has an educated perspective and a healthy food solution that's quickly evolving to become better than old organic. And she doesn't mean a little better. She's talking way better than organic. Before I get into it, though, let's take another quick look at what the food happened in 2025. During President Trump's first term 8 years ago, he turned the world into a fear fest that has grown much worse during his second kick at the can. Trump has 3 years left as president, which means if you want to leverage his chaos and make the most of his mistakes, well, you better get cracking before his window on the healthy food era closes. The president has inadvertently created so much food chaos that the longer he's in office, the more blunders his already wobbly team make. And mistakes provide opportunities for anyone smart enough to hitch a ride in the front seat of his PR roller coaster as it chugs up that first big hill in 2026. When it reaches the peak and drops racing for that first big corner, all hell will break loose. And anyone who's not prepared for the inertia, well, you'll get tossed like a big old watermelon. The next 3 years will offer up perfect opportunities to not only substantially grow alternative agriculture communities like organic, but it'll also provide opportunities to rapidly expand the local short food supply chain. It's a community that brings food security home to your backyard. And that's exactly where we need it, not in big box grocers. Artificial intelligence in 2026 will also play a major role in food education and make it easy for anyone, including farmers and consumers, to source KOD, knowledge on demand, through their phones, even while in the field or at the grocers. We're very close to that reality now, but agriculture educators, they'll have to quickly pivot to stay ahead of the adoption curve. If they shift their focus from general knowledge to information that's specific to each property, they'll provide value for new young farmers and also for more experienced growers who are clamoring to stay relevant. In 2017, Trump opened the door to chaos and disrespect, and many of his followers leveraged it to the hilt. Rules of decency, they went out the window while America desperately struggled to survive lockdown. To make up for lost profits during this time, food CEOs, bolstered by Trump's bravado, well, they launched shrinkflation initiatives that saw package sizes reduced, plus the contents in the packages cut back even further. And also a long list of chemicals added to the recipe to make processed food cheap to buy. The massive profit margin they cooked up for that winner chicken dinner is also the most dangerous food ever consumed by North Americans in all of modern history. The number of ultra-processed foods has recently risen dramatically, along with overwhelming healthcare costs. Bad food makes people sick, and America is now paying the price with skyrocketing hospital and hospice bills, that have shot through the roof. Every year, a new word galvanizes us, and in 2026, it's going to be inflammation. Inflammation. And if you think inflammation is what jacks up the bank rate and the cost of groceries, you should put your head back up your butt and take a close look at what's really happening in your body. Inflammation isn't inflation, but it's just as painful. Chronic inflammation kills more people than car accidents. Inflammation causes obesity, heart attacks, strokes, and cancers. And even though it's the leading cause of mortality, most people can't even spell it, let alone know what it means. And as importantly, why inflammation occurs. Inflammation is caused by a few things, but for our purposes here, we're looking at UPFs, ultra-processed foods that attack your cardiovascular system almost as soon as they're ingested. Inflammation causes damage that can't be undone or repaired, ever. There is no fix. As a warning to your body, though, inflammation often shows up as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or obesity, maybe acne, and also arthritis, and indicates bad gut health. Chronic inflammation, it can, however, be stopped from progressing simply by eating healthy food. You can't fix the damage, but you can stop it from occurring further. It's not any more complicated than that. I mean, just quit eating bad foods sold by bad grocers. Here's a snapshot of how UPF permanently impacts your body. UPFs can cause type 2 diabetes, plus substantial weight gain, and many other serious illnesses. When you eat an ultra-processed food like regular bread or cheese, after digestion, the UPF is carried by blood through your arteries where it's immediately identified as a contaminant. It's a foreign object in your body. And to defend your body, your liver and intestines instantly produce LDL cholesterol and send it racing through your arteries to place a protective cover over the UPF to segregate it from your blood. It means that your artery becomes incrementally narrower and stiffer forever. It never returns to normal, ever. Many people mistakenly believe, too, that UPF is expelled safely from your body. The reality, though, is that UPFs perpetually sandblast little holes and crevices into the inner walls of your arteries. It creates rough places for even more UPFs to stick and cause increased damage. That, in turn, requires even more cholesterol to protect you. It's just layer upon layer of cholesterol. At some point in your life, if you reach a UPF tipping point, damage can grow exponentially and cause you to rapidly become seriously ill. All UPF becomes a permanent fixture in your cardiovascular system, which over the course of time, it clogs your arteries. UPF is like smoking was in the 50s or drinking and driving in the 60s. They were all equally as destructive. UPF may be even more so. When UPF damage from diabetes reaches your toes and extremities, it clogs and kills hair-like arteries. You then lose an appendage or a digit because oxygen-laden blood never reaches your big toe. And worse, if an artery bursts on the interior wall, it can also cause a clot that triggers a heart attack or a stroke. I mean, please don't make it any more complicated. Bad food equals damaged and permanently clogged arteries. That's a full stop. If you continue to eat ultra-processed food at even a moderate volume, like popular breakfast cereals, for example, every day, combined with a side order of pesticides and herbicides from the milk and the dairy, it's likely that you'll eventually suffer dire consequences. The real tragedy is that children, maybe yours, often end up becoming insulin resistant, which sets up a very serious domino effect that's exceedingly hard to manage. And no age is immune from insulin resistance. You don't have to be young or old or overweight. Even a thin person can have insulin resistance. And one more point. Cooking oil in restaurants that's used over and over again collects UPF chemicals from the bad food cooked in that oil and transfers it to all subsequent food. Also, if you burn food in the oil or it gets superheated, it adds another layer of dangerous chemicals to your UPF slop. You can't win. I mean, is there hope? Well, of course there is. Organic represents the polar opposite of ultra-processed food. The challenge, however, is that it's not easy to kick a cheap food addiction caused by a bad food habit. It can be very challenging. Many people become hooked and cooked on cheap food and all the chemicals that give your belly a little poke, begging you to eat more. Yep, UPFs do that too. Some UPFs turn off your full switch and they trick your brain to continue eating even when you're stuffed full. I mean, how fucking evil is that? Kids today don't stand a chance. We poison them at breakfast. Why do I choose to leverage organic momentum and not regenerative or even the more sophisticated permaculture? Well, it's for a number of reasons, but mostly because consumers are already familiar with organic. And relatively speaking, few people have even heard of permaculture and regenerative, let alone know how these alternative farming processes work. It's confusing. Trust your gut and trust the crowd and your friends and family. I trust this concept so much that I'm almost finished writing a manuscript for my next book, Leverage Organic Momentum. It was 20 years. In 2006, 20 years ago, I published Leverage Olympic Momentum. We dramatically changed for the better how the International Olympic Committee and their local committees do business in Olympic cities and regions. Sports and alternative agriculture is different, of course, but agriculture also needs to change in order to leverage at least the next 3 years of Trump's term. To me and millions of others, organic is like family. It's trusted. Like family, though, organic isn't perfect, and it does have issues, but the challenges are much less than with other options. For example, regenerative is still so poorly funded and organized that some regen farmers, well, they still till entire fields and regularly spray a variety of chemicals, including pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, and all the other sides. Permaculture is better, but it's way too complicated and expensive for most farmers. Plus, like regen, it also failed to deliver visibility and value for consumers. That's a problem. Regenerative also got greedy, and instead of playing a supporting role or partnering with organic, well, they tried to take over the landscape completely as the big dog wagging the organic tail. Really? Big agriculture corporations jumped in the parade too with greenwashing campaigns and very effectively leveraged regenerative momentum. They turned the tables on them. I mean, they were so effective in misappropriating the brand that within 1 year, farmers and consumers were confused and they backed away, many wondering why Regen didn't defend their brand more strenuously. I wonder the same of organic. I mean, I wondered too, because at the time I was much more supportive of Regen than I am today. In fact, I'm disappointed, the same way I am with permaculture. A confusing landscape like this makes it easier for pump and dump whales, aka investment predators who are already on the hunt and preparing to dangle crypto to desperate farmers. It's a scenario that played out just a few years ago in other industries, and it had devastating financial consequences. Crypto is high on Trump's agenda, so be prepared for anything, including unscrupulous DAOs hosted on Discord servers. Organic has been a critical component of a healthy diet for decades, while all the other alt-ag processes are still a mystery, and an expensive one at that. Regenerative, for example, often retails at twice the cost of organic, and sometimes much more. I mean, cost, however, it's not an issue for wealthy consumers looking for healthy food to fuel athletic and intellectual performance, but it does shut out most lower income families. Still, in 2026, organic gets a thumbs up from me. And right below the thumb in a supporting role is regenerative, permaculture, biodynamics, entropic, and all the other alternative agriculture add-ons that make organic so powerful and the perfect core partner. When you align with new and improved organic, you're choosing a trusted process known by everyone, millions of people around the world. New organic, or as I refer to it with clients, Organic Plus, is way better because it also helps heal the earth while delivering the highest nutrient-dense food possible. Well, Organic Plus already hits every need and marker for farmers and consumers. Regenerative is still trying to throw the organic baby out with the dead earth bathwater. So far, though, Mother Nature ain't having it. In early 2026, because of all the greenwash confusion by companies like Cargill, McDonald's, McCain's, and the rest, plus a lack of standards, a regenerative certification now has little, if any, value for the masses. And they let it slip away. I mean, saying all that, though, I don't count regenerative out quite yet, and neither should you. In 2026, if they make radical changes and immediately start to heavily invest in finding and onboarding millions of customers, I mean, they might be able to capture enough of the market to overtake organic, which has always been their goal, regardless of their public-facing policy and story. Their covert contempt for other processes and how they position themselves as the end word, that's concerning. They're not the end word. After 50 long years, Regen is still struggling to entice and herd farmers. If you can't get the people who grow the food interested, I'm not sure if Regen will ever catch on. But I do know that even though it won't pass the tipping point on the adoption curve anytime soon, it is causing massive confusion, and that's a problem. It's one of the reasons farmers are not certifying as organic like they have in the past. They're confused. Another reason is that it's no longer necessary for local farmers to be organic or Regen certified to connect with loyal customers. Neighborly trust and social media, well, they're the new local food certification gatekeepers. It's significant that California is now suing 10 of the companies most involved with ultra-processed foods. And the fireworks from this alone in 2026, well, it'll be spectacular, I'm certain. If you're looking for a healthy lifestyle that'll help you live longer and happier, choose organic with a regenerative chaser. And remember, the dog, well, it still wags the tail. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have questions. I'm Maurice. Be well.